We all know that having a stockpile of food and other household essentials is really important, and it can save you time, it can save you money, it can save you stress, and just help you feel prepared for the future. But there are all sorts of excuses that I know I can come up with, and probably you have had too, when it comes to stockpiling and why it's kind of hard to do. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the top excuses not to stockpile. And the reason I know these excuses is because they have all been excuses that I have told myself. I don't have space. My family's too big. I don't even know where to start. Do these excuses sound familiar? If so, then this video is for you, because we're going to talk about 6 common excuses for why you might not want to stockpile and why you really should anyway. Whether you're a busy mom like me or you're just feeling overwhelmed, it is still possible to build a simple stockpile that works for your home and your budget. So let's jump right in with excuse number 1. This is probably the most common excuse not to stockpile, at least it's the first thing that comes to mind for me. I think a lot of us, we've seen those different stockpiling videos on YouTube or Instagram or wherever, and you see someone walking you through their massive pantry with all these beautiful shelves, or you see someone going down to their basement and it's just completely lined with jars of food. It's super impressive and you're like, wow, that's amazing, but I could never do that and I just do not have the storage. Well, when I'm talking about stockpiling, I'm not talking about like stocking a bunker. I'm not talking about like major prepping, although there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just talking about stocking up on some of those foods that you use the most, that you know your family is going to eat. And you don't need a massive amount of space to do that. You just have to get creative. So when I'm talking about creativity, I'm talking about looking for places like under the bed or behind a door. You know how you can like hang something on the back of a door to store things, or maybe it's the top shelves in a closet. You guys know I cleared off a shelf in our linen closet and that's been working for us. Or maybe it's some of those like hard to get into cabinets in your kitchen. Whatever it might be, you just need to find some creative spaces, and I think you will have enough room to at least start stockpiling. Another excuse you might have is that you have a large family, and I totally get this one. With a family of 7, it can feel like stockpiling is just a little too hard because everything is gone so fast. But that is exactly why it is important to stockpile. I really started to focus on stockpiling last year. I did a video about that really took off. I was especially focusing on foods that would be convenient to have during a power outage. So I started my stockpile, and let me tell you, we went through a lot of that stuff really fast, and I was trying to keep it replenished and trying to buy stuff as I took stuff out. But I did not totally succeed. It is definitely a smaller stockpile now than it was back in like September or whenever I did it. But I'm not gonna give up, even though it is hard with a large family and we are going through food fast. I know that this is why it is important to have a stockpile. And I'm just doing my best to, as I use something, remember to add it to my list so I can keep replenishing that stockpile and feel like I am preparing for the future and providing well for our larger family. Okay, excuse number 3 is you're on a tight budget. And this one hits close to home because you guys know I have a grocery budget that I try to stay within for every week. And sometimes when I'm thinking about stockpiling, it's like, do I really have the wiggle room in my budget to be doing that? And also, a lot of times when I'm thinking about stockpiling, I get inspired by somebody else who's really good at it or whatever, and then I just want to make a trip to Costco or wherever and just like grab this money from savings and spend all this money to just get stocked up. I want to make it happen now. But that's really not the way that you should do stockpiling. Stockpiling, when done correctly, is just a little bit at a time. Even when you're on a tight budget, maybe you are just putting $5 a week towards that something extra. Or when you have to buy peanut butter for your family, you're buying one for now and one for later. But you're not going out and like spending a ton of money. It's just a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time, you're getting food put away, buying extras here and there as your budget permits it, so that it's not one big spending spree, it's just a little at a time. Of course, the best way to do this is to stock up when there are sales. So that way you're not buying a bunch of stuff that's full price. It's just like, oh, pasta's on sale this week. Let me buy 5 extra boxes because it's such a good sale. You're taking advantage of those sales to stock up so that later on when you need those things, you're not having to go out and pay full price. So it actually really is better for your budget when you get into the habit of stockpiling. Okay, excuse number 4 is that you'll end up wasting food. Now I totally get this one. Back in 2020, we went out and everyone was like buying up the grocery stores for a while there. Not just the toilet paper, but like the groceries too. People were buying beans and rice and all those sorts of things. And we did too. We bought, I remember, a lot more rice than we normally ate and a lot of black beans. And I think we went through the black beans somewhat quickly, but some of that rice, like, it sat around for a long time, and some of it kind of got old, and I think we had to throw some out because we just never used it. So that can definitely be a concern of stockpiling. If you're stocking up on things that you don't typically use, you're like, oh, lentils are good for you, I'm gonna buy a bunch of lentils, but you never actually cook with them, well then, what's the point of that? So when I'm talking about stockpiling, I'm not talking about buying all those random things. I'm saying buy what you're already using, what you know you're gonna use on a weekly, on a monthly basis. Stock up on those things. But yeah, if you get a really good stockpile of those things and you feel like you have a handle on it, then maybe you can start stocking up on some things that you're like, this would just be for an emergency and I feel okay spending money on this sort of thing. These food kits that last for 25 years or whatever. But for now, especially if you're newer to stockpiling like me, the whole point is stock up on things that you know you're gonna use. That way you don't have to be concerned about food waste. You know you're gonna use it, and that way you're also not wasting money either. Okay, excuse number 5 is I'm not organized. Now, some people are more organized than other people. Some people just seem to know how to do it. And again, some people have more room so they can buy all the cute little boxes and containers and have their shelves perfectly organized. And that's great if you can do that. But you don't have to be super organized. And again, you don't have to have a ton of room to start a stockpile. The most important thing I would say is have a Sharpie so that you can write the date on things. So as you are moving things in, of course, your newest things in the back, and just write on them with a Sharpie really quick. I wasn't doing this at first, and actually one of you guys left a comment and mentioned about marking things with a Sharpie, and that is really helpful because it can kind of be easy to forget how long you've had things in there. And I had some boxes of saltines, and I forgot like how long I'd had them in there, and we pulled them out right around their expiration date, and they were just already stale. The kids ate some of them, but they were kind of nasty. So it would have helped if I had written on the box with a Sharpie. It only takes a second. It's really not a big deal. Just as you add stuff to your stockpile, mark it, and that way you know right around when it is expiring, and you can make sure to use it up. But other than that, like, you don't have to have amazing organization skills. And also you can just learn as you go. You don't have to have it all figured out in order to start. Just start and you'll learn as you go. And excuse number 6 is, I don't even know what to stockpile. I don't even know where to start. So if this is you, don't stress. Just think about your grocery list and think about what are some of the things that you buy week after week. Now I would start with like the shelf staple things. So I'm not talking about stocking up in your freezer right now, although I think that's a great idea too. And I have another video which I'll link for you guys about some of the things I like to keep in the freezer that save me time and money and all of that. But right now I'm mainly just talking about shelf staple things. So think of those things like your pasta, your canned tomatoes, maybe you go through a lot of peanut butter, snacks your kids love, whatever you are using regularly. Think of those things and maybe make a list of like 8 to 10 different things that you want to start with, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself by buying like 20 different things and then just having random, 2 of this and 2 of that. Better to focus on like a few basics and kind of start your stockpile there, and then you can always add to it. And of course you can expand out from food to things like water. You might want to stock up on water bottles or jugs of water, or if you have little kids, you might want to stock up on diapers or things like that. So it doesn't have to just be those shelf stable foods, but make a list of what is most important to you and just focus on those things to start. Okay, so just to wrap things up, stockpiling doesn't need to be overwhelming or complicated or expensive. It's not about preparing for doomsday. It's just about preparing for everyday life and being like, oh, we didn't have time to run to the grocery store. Let me check the stockpile and see if there's something that I can grab to use. Or, oh, the kids are sick. Yay, I stocked up on crackers. I have some easy stuff for them to eat. So start small, start simple. That's what I'm doing. But you will thank yourself. The future you will thank you. Let me know in the comments, you guys, what is one item that you are going to stock up on this week? If you're looking for more content to watch about stockpiling, I did a video last fall where I shared my no power stockpile, my power outage stockpile. And it's small, but it might give you some ideas if you are just starting. So I'll be sure to link that over here somewhere for you guys. Okay, you guys, as always, thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you again soon in my next video.